Hey, what's up, people? Today we'll be talking about how taking student loans could impact your visa application. If you're an international student, you already know how important the visa process is. So let's talk about how your taking out loans could potentially impact that visa application process. So let's get into it. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing. But if you're an OG on this channel, you already know I have done a lot of videos on like student loan options and all of that, and I've also done videos about the visa application process, mostly for the US. But that's not what we're talking about in today's video. Today's video will be focusing on the part of the visa application process that could be impacted by your taking out loan. So what part of that visa process is impacted by taking student loans? So that's kind of the part we'll be talking about today, like bringing those two together. So this video is not like for talking about like different student loan options. I have done a lot of videos for that, so make sure you check out my older videos. I'll also link a couple of them in the description box. So that said, let us get into it. So for today, I'll be using examples for the US and Canada. So those are my two examples today. I know there are a lot of other destinations that international students go to, but I'll focus on the US and Canada in today's video just as examples to show you how student loans impact visa application. So all of that good stuff said, let's jump right into it. Guys, for the US, this is how it works. So once you're at the end of the whole student application process to get into the school, and you've gotten into the school, you've accepted their offer, at some point before resumption, before you can resume, let's say the program resumes in September, at some point a couple of months before the resumption date, the school will reach out to you. That's the international office in your school will reach out to you with a form. On that form, they'll be asking for your basically financial information. I forget what they call that form, but on that form, they will have the total cost of attendance for your program. So let's say your program, the total cost for the 2 years is $100,000. They will have that number on the form. Let's say the tuition is $100,000 and living expenses is $50,000. That's $150,000 total cost of attendance. They will have that on that form. Now they will give you blanks on that form and say, tell us line by line or give us a breakdown of how you will fund this $150,000. So they'll send you that form, and on that form you have to fill in, I got a scholarship for $70,000. I have savings of $30,000, and I'm taking loans for $50,000. So, but whatever you do, that sum, the total of every line item you put on that form must equal $150,000, because that is the total cost of attendance. Now, without you filling this form and attaching all the required documents, they cannot issue your I-20. The I-20 is the letter or the form that you need to apply for a student visa for the United States. So that's how that works. So let's go back to this form. Now you are filled in that I have a scholarship of $70,000. I have $30,000 in my personal savings account or whatever. You attach the form, you attach your scholarship letter, you attach your bank statement. Now that's $100,000. You also say maybe somebody sponsoring you for like $30,000. You attach the sponsorship letter and that person's bank statement. I've done a whole video on sponsorship letters and how it works. Make sure you check out that video if you don't understand how it works. I'll link it in the description box. Now you have $130,000 accounted for, but you need $150,000. Let's say you're taking a $20,000 loan. You will now attach a loan agreement letter or a loan acceptance letter from the loan provider up to for the $20,000 amount. So we've talked about 4 things that you could have on this form: your scholarship letter, your sponsorship letter from your sponsor and their bank statement, your own bank statement if you have some savings, and also your loan agreement. So these are the things you will write on the form and the specific amounts for each category and you would also attach all these documents. You will send that document back to the school with all of these you send that form back to the school with all of this documentation attached, and then we move on to the next part of that process. Now you have sent that form back to the school with all your documents like bank statements and stuff like that I just mentioned. You've sent it to the school. Now you have to wait. So you wait and the school processes it and everything. If everything checks out and everything is fine, then the school will issue you an I-20. Now they would send you a some scanned copy of the I-20, but that's not what you really need. They have to send you the physical copy of the I-20, so they usually ship it from the US to wherever you are in the world. You don't have to be in the US. You don't, like, they send it everywhere, and they've been doing this for so many years. So you get your I-20 letter. It's at that point you can apply for a student visa, because you need the I-20 basically. So now when you apply, you go online, US embassy or consulate, whatever, and you start the student visa application process. It's normal, it's typical, whether you're taking loans or not, it doesn't matter, right? They barely ask you for that information. It's not important information on that form. But as part of the US student visa process, you have to do an interview, especially if it's your first time. Yeah, you need to do an interview. So you schedule an interview with the US embassy in your country, and then you show up for that interview. At that interview, like when you're preparing to go for that interview, you should go with your loan approval letter as part of the documents you'll be going with. Of course, you have to go with your I-20. If you don't go with anything, go with your I-20 and your passport, right? Those are the two most important documents you need for the US visa interview. Now, you go with your I-20, you go with your passport, and then you should also go with your loan approval letter. You should go with your scholarship letter or funding letter the school has given you. You should go with all those documents you had sent to the school. You should still go with it. Now, when you get to that interview, one of the questions they may not, usually they don't really ask, because they can see the breakdown already on your I-20. So when you check your I-20, all those line items you filled, like say I'm going to I have a scholarship of $70,000, all those things, they write it on your I-20. So the visa officer already sees your I-20, so they likely won't ask you for how are you going to fund your program, where are you going to get money. But see, just you go with those documents in case they ask. So that is how the process works for the US. Now, a lot of you ask questions that would they reject my application because I have a loan? No, I took loans to go to business school. I went through this entire process, I'm telling you, and no, they don't reject. They could reject you for any other reason, but let me tell you this: they know how much international students bring to the US every year for decades. So they are not interested. Whoever is telling you if you take loans, they reject your visa, your visa will be denied. That is not true. There could be other reasons, but this is how thousands of students have funded their studies in the United States, and it brings in a lot of money for these schools in the US. Why do you think they want to block that? So guys, don't worry about it. This is the process if you're taking loans. So now let's talk about Canada as an example. So for Canada, as part of the visa application process, like the student visa application process, you need to send them some documentation. Like you need to send consulate some documents, right? They don't have an interview, at least for now. So you need to send them things like proof of identity, proof of acceptance to the program, and then proof of funding. That's one of the things you need to send, like proof that you can fund. Now, for the proof of funding, you can use some or all or one of these options. You can use your bank statement. You can send them your loan documents. That's a letter that the loan provider gave you, or loan agreement, whatever. Some letter that the loan provider has given you, you can send it to them. You can send your bank statement. You can send your scholarship letter. You can send your sponsorship letter. And these are the options that I also mentioned for the US. So these processes are similar across different countries that you could be going to. So you can send your scholarship letter, your sponsorship letter from your sponsor. You can send your own bank statement, your sponsor's bank statement. You can also send your loan approval letter. Now, this is where loans come in. It's one of the documents, your loan document is one of the documents you will send to Canada. So if you are, still unsure of like what documents you need to send to Canada and how this could be impacted by your loans, I will drop a link in the description box that takes you straight to the Canada immigration site, where they list all these things. So you guys can see for yourselves that taking out loans doesn't really impact whether you take out loans or you have all of the cash in your account. That's not what determines whether or not you get a visa. So all of that said, I'll put a link in the description for you to check out the Canada immigration site, where they list out all these things, and they are super clear on what you need, even how much you need. So I'll put that in the description box. Make sure you check it out. Okay, so guys, that's it for today. If you found today's video helpful, you know what to do. You should like this video, give this video a thumbs up, also subscribe. If you want more content like this, please subscribe to the channel, and that encourages me to do more videos like this. So guys, if you have any questions about like applying for a visa and how student loans could potentially impact that, if you also have some stories to share about your experience, if you took out loans and ended up going to grad school or college or undergrad, whatever it is, make sure you share your story in the comment section. Also ask any questions you have. I'm always happy to answer those questions, either in the comment section or in another video. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in my next video.